Today's video is simply about the idea of you feeling trapped as a founder. My name is Saif. For those of you who haven't watched my previous videos, I'm founder of multiple companies that then went on to create a group that was last valued over 10 million. And I'm probably living the idea or have lived the idea of feeling trapped as a founder. I studied law at university, created my first startup when I was 23, had more money than sense, did the corporate gig, then found my purpose in life, or what I feel is my purpose. And that led to me being here, now living in Egypt, having experienced the idea of growing a group of companies, being very time poor, not having any time or presence for the people that I care about, and then deciding to do something about it. I then changed from a scale-up type of group of companies to a lifestyle-based group of companies. Make sure I keep my pen. And that allows me to work on the things that I care about with the time that I want to give to the people that really matter to me most. And that's the ultimate objective, I believe, of any founder, creating the idea of freedom. So why is it that you're feeling trapped as a startup founder? Most startup companies, most founders in particular, don't recognize that the life cycle of their business today isn't the same length of time that may have existed maybe even 5 years ago, maybe a bit more than that. And what I mean by this is that means that you are needing to constantly iterate, you are needing to constantly develop what your business stands for, what it does for its customers, and how it allows you as the founder not to feel trapped by simply working in the business all the time. The most important thing that you can do as a founder is find your freedom formula so you can build that business over and over again. You can keep reinventing it so that you're able to pivot into finding your purpose alongside your profit in that business. I think there's one thing that can help you do that, and I just want to talk about the idea of the flywheel effect. Many founders may be aware of this, many of you might not be, but for me, one of the things that really changed the ability of me being able to give time to the people that I want, to be able to create that lifestyle type of business that allows me to work wherever I want, whenever I want, and be able to do the things that matter to me, it was simply facilitated by the idea of owning the flywheel effect. The flywheel effect is something that was coined by Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great. And if you've not read it, I really recommend it because it's probably the ultimate book that any founder needs to completely own to be able to make sure that you're not working in your business, so you're not becoming time poor all the time, so you're not doing all things at all times and being everyone and anyone for all people around you. What happens off the back of that is you have no time for you, no time for the people you care about, and that leads to more frustration. You need to own the flywheel effect. The flywheel effect is simply a focused concept, which is really important. The idea of focusing, of solving one problem at a time. And as you solve one problem, that then allows you to identify what next thing needs to happen. And you keep solving that, or you solve that. That then identifies the next thing, and then the next thing. And what happens in the process of, for example, identifying who do we serve, what do we do, why do we do it, how do we do it? You are then constantly creating compounding effects that allows you to then keep reinventing your business. And the ultimate flywheel effect that Jim Collins talks about is Amazon as business. And if you've not used Amazon or Prime, I don't know where in the world you're living, but Amazon is the number one example of mastering the flywheel effect. So they really understood what is it that they do. Who do they serve? How do they do it? Why do they do it? And what differentiates them? And I just want to use them as the example, okay? Because in this video, the ultimate objective is you not feeling trapped as the founder. Why do you feel trapped? Because you're here. You're constantly working in the business, not on the business. And that means that you're always being pulled in every single direction. And because you're being pulled in every single direction, you're not able to work on the most important thing to the business, which is you. And then the second most important thing, which is working on that particular business. You're not able to take the stance of being outside, looking in, having that helicopter view, and that means that you're always frustrated. So how do we get you here? How do we get you working on being able to have that perspective of being able to anticipate as a founder, anticipate where you are going as a business, what needs to be done to keep innovating, how do you maintain market share, how do you stay ahead of your competitors, and how do you ensure that you keep doing this without you needing to be at the center of your business firefighting all the time. And you do this by owning the flywheel effect. And we are now using Amazon as the best example for this particular process, right? Why Amazon? Obviously worth billions of dollars. And that means that they have mastered the art of business, maybe not the art of people, who knows, I'm just saying. But they have really understood, okay, how do we differentiate ourselves? We differentiate ourselves by knowing that we want to surprisingly delight our customers. Surprisingly delight our customers. That's their mantra, okay? And because they're surprisingly delighting their customers, that's the whole focus, their vision for why they exist. They are then constantly finding ways of doing that. So from this, what we take then is the idea of starting with an anchoring point of what differentiates you as a business, okay? Because we now know the flywheel effect needs to have a vision for how you differentiate yourselves. That vision needs to be based on the customers that you serve today, but also the customers that you serve in 5 years' time that allows you to free your future self. That comes from understanding how does our vision differentiate us as a company. So Amazon's one is they want to surprisingly delight their customers. And because of this, they are then able to identify the mechanism that facilitates that differentiation, okay? So their mechanism was to be able to surprisingly delight our customers, what already exists in the market that we can do better. So with Amazon, their case was very simple. We want to be able to take the concept of a person making an order online, and instead of having to wait 3 to 5 days, maybe a week, we are going to deliver it not in 2 to 3 days, but we are going to deliver it next day. And in some cases now, same day, and in some cases within a few hours. So they took the idea of what already exists in the market and understood that today the most important thing to people is speed. And just think about it. You know, your internet at home, if it's slow, how does it make you feel? Think about when you are maybe on Instagram or WhatsApp and all of a sudden there's an outage and you're not able to send a message, what emotions come over you? Think about the idea of getting from one place to another when it comes to your food orders. If you're waiting more than an hour and a half, what frustration are you left with? They recognize that the most important thing today is speed, and that speed equals success for the customer or satisfaction. So by simply identifying their differentiation through their vision, which is we want to be able to surprisingly delight our customers, they then understood what's the mechanism that helps them achieve that. And that mechanism was based out of what already exists in the market that they could do better. And then that allowed them to identify at what point does that friction, because to be able to deliver next day, they would take on a massive sunk cost. So they recognized that initially their cash, their cash flow line would take a massive battering, but eventually that friction would turn into freedom for the business and create that hockey stick effect that's really important in business that allows them to then free up themselves as business founders, as business objectives, because they are creating the profit line that allows the business to keep thriving. And this is just the e-commerce side, right? So they then did this across everything. So first thing was, how do we differentiate ourselves? Which is, we now understand we want to surprisingly delight our customers. We need to know the mechanism, okay? They then identify that mechanism is next day delivery because people don't want to wait. If we're able to get people getting their items next day, that means that more and more referrals will be made because people are getting something an amazing experience that doesn't already exist in the market. And because of that, people are going to talk about it. They're going to tell their friends. What that then leads to is an increased market share. When they have the increased market share, they then create the economies of scale, because initially that was costing them as a business, but because they have an increased market share, more and more customers signing up for that Prime service, which is approximately $7.99 to $11.99, depending where you are, that increased market share would mean they would have more market dominance. More market dominance means that they can keep providing a better and better service to keep surprisingly delight their customers, because more profit. That profit was then fed into surprisingly delighting their customers, and their flywheel, which we are putting here, that flywheel keeps feeding into itself. It's a circle of business that allows them to keep compounding lots of small advantages. And those small advantages then led to Amazon increasing its profitability and business market share. Why is this important to you as a founder? So what we've identified is the flywheel is the most important thing that you can do. As a founder, what you now need to do is recognize that what flywheel do you need to create to be able to free yourself and stop feeling trapped in your business. And I'm going to take just a moment to rub this out first, because hopefully the Amazon example shows you how simple it is by just simply starting with a clear understanding of what you want to anchor your business to, like what makes you different, where is that vision? And then through that, you're then able to identify what things you need to do. But as a founder, you might be saying, that's really simple because Amazon are a huge company, and that flywheel in e-commerce was also supported by AWS, and then AWS supported by Kindle. Like, they created flywheels across every area of their business that kept compounding and making them millions and billions of dollars. But I'm just a small startup founder with maybe a very small team. How can I free myself so I can keep scaling my business instead of feeling trapped by it? I call this my freedom formula. It's something that I talk about in my community, where I look to help visionary founders create their own freedom formula so that they can live their life, simply live a life that they love. And for me, that is based around the concept of freedom. Okay, so the first thing with your freedom formula that you need to ask is, what mission and vision is the most important thing that I can do to free my 5-year self, free my future 5-year self? What is that mission and vision? Okay. Once you've identified that, for me, there's 3 things you might have seen in my previous videos that are really important for you to be able to stop being trapped in your business and start feeling free. And that is the idea of building an effective personal brand. Okay. Why is an effective personal brand important? In particular, a purposeful one is it helps you attract talent. It helps you attract A players. It's based around mission and vision. So those individuals are already bought in. They're not just seeing your business as something functional. They're believing in you as a human being and the change that you want to create. And that creates a real motivation and desire for those individuals to be really effective in the work that they do. So this idea of your freedom formula is you creating your flywheel, and that's based on your mission and vision. That then allows you to understand, what is my personal brand? Like, what is the thing that I want to advocate, to evangelize, to be able to attract people that I want to have support me in my mission and vision? And you might be thinking, well, that's all good and well. I might be a visionary leader, but I don't have the funds. The way that you do this is identify who are the individuals that will have the biggest impact on bottom line revenue that allow you to create this flywheel for yourself to then create the flywheel for your business. So that personal brand will allow you to create a community of super fans, your tribe. Okay. The idea is then to be able to create a product or service that you build, that idea of having that secondary revenue line that then allows you to have more flexibility, and more flexibility allows you to feel more free. And the more freedom you feel, the more focus you'll feel, because you're being rewarded for your contribution to your business. Okay, so this is you now recognizing, okay, I need a flywheel, but that flywheel can't be built off nothing. So the foundational flywheel that you need to create is your freedom formula. That freedom formula for you is you understanding your personal brand, the community. Why is a community important? Because it's going to attract talent or support or customers. Once you understand your community, then you know how to serve them through a product or service or a narrative, because you're trying to attract talent. That could be on a freelancer basis that supports you achieve a business objective, which is selling products. And that second revenue line that is based on the idea of flexibility allows you to generate more cash, because you need to be able to understand how can I create a flywheel that I can then turn into profit. Okay, so now we're going to do a flywheel for your business. And I'm just going to take an example, which is now been based of before and after. Okay, before here, after here. Okay, before you were, I keep using a similar example to this, but before you were an accountant, okay, that is serving every client, charging a very similar price, but trading time for money. And then that led to you having a cap on profit, because there's only a certain amount of people you can serve. And because you are only making money, let's say monthly or yearly for submitting accounts, that left you frustrated and feeling trapped. Okay. Now, because you focus on your flywheel, which is you want to be an accountant for visionary founders who want to be able to understand their finances better so that they can 10x their business. Okay? So now you understand who you serve, how you serve them, or why you serve them to achieve what objective. That's the idea of you being clear in your vision and your point of differentiation. And now you are building your flywheel, which is based on your personal brand, okay? Because you have your narrative. That then allows you to attract talent or support, and that doesn't have to be paid employees. That could be freelancers or contractors. That then allows you to do something which is teach, okay? The more people you teach, the more people you attract to your community, because you'll have super fans. The more super fans you have, the more products you sell. The more products you sell, the more you can then have people who do this that generates you the most amount of revenue. And that's simple. You need to stop working within your business. You need to stop feeling like you are just serving your business, but your business isn't serving you. The way that you do this, the way that founders get untrapped, if that's even a word, the way that founders get free, the way that founders focus on their mission and vision, because the reason why you're a founder is because you believe you've got more to give than the average person that is just giving themselves to a system. You believe that you want to create a system for society. You believe that you want to be able to benefit society in a way that that average person that's doing that 9 to 5 maybe isn't. The way that you do this is by simply understanding what is your flywheel. Flywheel for your business that creates that compounding effect when it comes to revenue. But first and foremost, what is your personal flywheel? What is it that you stand for? Why is it important? How does it make a difference? Why does it matter? What are those little details for you as a human being that allows you to feel a sense of transformation, that then allows you to attract people that can service and support your business so that you can go from working in it to on it? By simply nailing your flywheel for you as a human being first, and then your business, you create the freedom that you've always wanted and stop feeling trapped. Take action today by defining your flywheel and see what a difference it makes to your life. Thanks for watching.